spirituality versus religion. So I have a Mormon heritage, very deep, very strong Mormon heritage. My family on both sides helped develop the church, build out the Utah area. They were converted in New York, came over. My dad's side, as it turns out, I discovered a few years ago. I always knew my mom's side was deeply entrenched in the Mormon movement. But apparently now we don't say Mormon anymore, I just discovered yesterday. No more Mormons. They're not called, not called Mormons anymore. I don't know why. And kind of segue into my thoughts here. There's some other things there's a lot of changes happening in the Mormon church, which is a good thing, I suppose. I reactivated into it a few years ago when I was married, and things fell apart, and I had a lot of issues there during my divorce as it relates to people, and they're very serious, very real, valid concerns, right? Again, it's people. It's people. So there's principles and there's people. I believe in principles. Behind every principle, there's a promise, I've heard. I also believe that trust is earned, right? And so my trust was shaken deeply with people, which is kind of to be expected with humans, right? But again, so, trying to make a few points here about spirituality versus religion. What I've seen with, people struggling. I see a lot of people raised in the Mormon church who really struggle with, morality and addiction. Like, once they go off the deep end, man. Like, there's this resonating shame and guilt, that tends to be more destructive than helpful, and it's like all in or all out type of a mentality, and it concerns me. This whole recovery, sober living initiative that has saved not only me, but now that I give away to help so many other people, it's just opened my eyes to so many realities as it pertains to actual principles, right? And working outside the confines of even organized religion. And, who knows what'll end up happening with me if, someday I'll join a church again or, get back into organized religion. Right now, I can tell you I depend fully on my relationship with God, the one that I've developed through the 12-step process. That is what has never failed me. That's always there for me at the end of the day, whether it's my kids, my parents, my siblings, anybody, members of the clergy or the church or, extended family. It doesn't matter. Those people are people. They're humans, and they're going to let me down at some point. What doesn't let me down is my relationship with my Creator that I've developed. That is really, literally all I have in this life. And then my willingness and my ability to serve others. Those are the most important things. After that is, there's some things I'd like to have. I'd like to have some freedoms and, selfishly indulge in some time to myself. I enjoy certain things, and I think it's important to have that balance. But, these things I discovered outside of the church. So I guess here's some of the points that I want to make as it pertains to spirituality versus religion. If you have a deeply religious background, if you're raised in the Mormon religion like I was, I think you have to understand that not knowing everything is okay. That's where I live comfortably. There's a lot of this in the Mormon church. There's a lot of, do you believe that, Jesus Christ is the Son of God and blah, blah, blah? Do you believe that Joseph Smith is blah, blah, blah? And I think that happens in all religions. And you have to answer yes or no. Like, you have to have this, affirmative, absolutely. All these doctrines that you're teaching me that are in the Bible, that are in all these other books, they are true words of God. There's do you believe there's a prophet, that the leader of the Mormon church is a prophet of God? Do you believe that? Yes or no? And I can tell you right now, I live very comfortably in the I don't know, and I don't care to debate it. That's where I live. It's a very agnostic state of being. That's where I live. And it's not like I woke up and chose that or was inspired to do that. I just kind of was forced into it through actions from others outside of my control, you know, namely my ex-wife and a bunch of people in the church. And I found myself ostracized and isolated. Now, I don't drink, I don't drug, and that's another thing. So that's my first point. It's okay to say, I really don't know. There's certain things I do know, and I know that I've felt good in going to the Mormon church. I also know that there's a lot of things where I scratch my head going, I don't know if I really believe in that. Can you explain more? Why? Why should I believe in that? Why are we not called Mormons anymore? Why are we not doing pageants anymore? Why are there no more Christmas lights? Why? You know, it's the same thing I do with my children. If I tell them, here's a new rule, here's the law of the land and a new policy, and here's why I do it, my kids typically can accept that. And I can walk them through the process, the principle of it. Right? If I just say, you do it because I said so, it's going to create some issues. And so living in that, it's okay to question that. If you're getting this, you just do it and you'll see. Or you're not going to know till you die. You just have to kind of go through the motions and then you'll see when you die. I can't live like that. I need to know. I need to understand the action and the consequence. So, you know, there's a lot of that in the church, and I'm just saying for me, I live very comfortably in the I don't know. The one thing I do know, when I hit my knees, when I pray, when I, and this is the second point, is, you know, morality. Like, a lot of people quit the church, they quit going to church, and now they start drinking, and then it trickles into drugging and promiscuity and all of these things that they're destructive, man. Like, those things will hurt you. And then you find yourself miserable and scared and afraid, and the church is there with loving arms saying, come on back, you can be forgiven. And you go back right into that shame and guilt and this, you know, this paradigm that you have to have organized religion to live a life of morality and, you know, principles that produce good results in your life. And in my experience is that you don't. I actually have a better self-image, a healthier state of being now than I ever have, and I'm outside of the Mormon church. I'm not against it, you know, and I'm not really for it. I just live in a lot of, I don't know, I'm not sure about that. You know, do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? You know, I'm open to talking to anybody in the Mormon church because, you know, from a morality standpoint, I'm kind of right on par with most of the people I've known there. I just don't have a lot of the guilt and the, you know, the other thing, the guilt and the shame that's associated with that, with my participation in the Mormon church. Like a lot of the question marks. Now it's just like I'm fully accountable for my actions, and I don't know, man. It feels good. It feels good. So, you know, biggest points I wanted to drive home is just open yourself up to the idea that maybe we don't know everything. Maybe it's okay to just say, you know what, I'm not sure right now, and I'm okay with that. And, you know, there's this constant driving in the Mormon church to, you know, you need to know, you need to understand, you need to grasp this concept. And then once you check off the list of, yeah, I believe in that doctrine, you're getting closer to going to the temple, right? And everything evolves. And once you get to the temple, everything's going to be okay. Well, it really wasn't in my experience. It wasn't bad, but it didn't solve everything. What solves everything is my desire for knowledge and understanding. What is, you know, there was dysfunction in my life, and I needed to know the psychology behind where it was coming from and why it was happening. And there just wasn't a lot of regimented, organized religion type, you know, practices that were creating solutions that I was seeking. You know, that stuff was not taught inside the temple or at the churches for the most part at all. You know, very limited. It's like you need to just do more of this and more of that, and those things can be effective. The family activities and the praying, and so, you know, I get it, it helps, but there's just a lot of information out there that really is outside the church that I've discovered. I had to seek it on my own, and it's worked for me. And one thing I don't do, I don't drink, I don't drug, I don't have promiscuous sex, I don't, you know, I just, if it's destructive for me, I really try to limit that. I drink coffee, but I don't drink sodas. You know, that's one thing the church's like, don't drink coffee, but they drink the heck out of diet sodas and Dr. Peppers and all these, you know, this horrible things for you. But black coffee, no, can't do that. No, I drink black coffee. That's my preference for my caffeine addiction. But, you know, we'll have a destruction mode of some sort. You just gotta, I guess, mitigate it as much as possible. But anyway, I hope that got across. I think, again, trying to wrap it up, 2 points. You know, it's okay not to know. I'm agnostic. I know there's something out there. I just am not so egotistical and bold as to believe that I know what it is, that I can define it. And then, you know, the other thing, believing in the principles and the principles that will deliver. So don't jump off the deep end. If you get outside the church, you're fooling yourself if you think that you can go out and drink and drug and have promiscuous sex with random people and that's going to serve you well. It's going to destroy you, and you're going to end up weak again, ultimately weak, and you'll seek to get strong through. Rather than going to principles, it's likely you'll go back to church and go right back into shame and guilt mode. It's this vicious cycle. All right. Thanks.